So the 4 stages of launching a business are launch, setup, iteration and reducing cost, and then growth. If you do them in the wrong order, you will fail. You don't have to be good at what you're doing. You don't have to worry about how good the idea is. If you do them you won't necessarily fail, but you have a much higher chance of failing if you don't do them in that order. You're just going to extend the period over a few years, where it could have been a few months, that's the proper order to start a business in. Launch, set up, reduce cost and iterate, then growth. When someone is giving you the credit card or paying you, that's launching. Launching is when people are putting money on the line. Setup is creating the product or business. So if it's a coffee shop, it's putting the coffee shop together. So again, sometimes you can't do these in the order I've said, but if you can, it's ideal. You sometimes have to do setup and launch the other way around. You do have to set up, but you can set up much quicker than some people do. And launch, because I'm putting launch first because you want to launch as quickly as you possibly can. And then iteration and reducing costs it's more of a mindset, because you want to take customer feedback, and by customer feedback I mean angry customers, as an opportunity to make the business better.
Sorry.
So iteration, when you're iterating the business, what you want to do is you want to have a mindset of anything bad the customer says, you want to improve it. The issue I find here is when people either commit too strongly to a vision and don't iterate, or they don't learn. So something goes wrong and they don't actually improve the process. So in this stage, you know that customers are going to buy the product, you know that it's working, you've set up, and you're now incrementally improving it, you're incrementally reducing costs, you're trying to find cheaper alternatives, you're trying to find a better system, you're trying to find the system that you can then replicate. You want to make things as cheap as possible before you replicate. You want to make sure customers are happy, and happy at a point where it's actually bringing you profit, so it's sustainable. So in this stage, that's what you're doing, and it's a mindset thing, because you really need to think, anytime a customer says something bad, it's not an attack on you, it is an opportunity to improve on the business. If the customers aren't giving you any negative feedback, it probably means that you took too long setting up and launching, because you've made it too perfect before you've even started. But once you're in this stage, you really need to take any kind of negative thing that comes back, and you'll get them either indirectly or directly. You'll get a lot of negative feedback, or you should be. You want to get it. If you're not getting it, you need to go out and search for it. You need to ask them what was wrong. You need to find out. You need to watch their behavior and find out what they're not understanding, what they're doing, what they're not enjoying or not using. Cut out the things that they're not using, add to the things that they are using. And you want to get this part, in this section of starting a business, you want to make the business profitable with as little problems as possible. You want to reduce all the problems. If you're not getting any, then you need to find the feedback. You need to find some avenue for the customers to tell you in a comfortable way what they didn't like about your process, what they don't like about your pricing, what they don't like about how you approach the situation. You need to find those things out. If you're not getting it directly from them, some will just tell you, but not everyone's going to tell you. Not everyone's going to be comfortable just telling you, look, I didn't like this or that. They'll just talk with their feet. They won't book again. They won't buy your product again. You need to take a bit more courage in this stage and reach out and find out why they don't want to, and sometimes they won't tell you exactly what they're unhappy about. That's why this part can be hard. They'll point out things and you're like, how's that a problem? And a lot of the time, it's not the problem that they're actually unhappy about. And as a business owner, it's your job to understand the business and understand why they're unhappy. It's not their job to understand why they're unhappy. They're unhappy with your product. They're pointing out why they think they're unhappy. It's your job to identify what their problem is. And they could be talking about the symptom of a problem. So if you're going to find the solution, they might even suggest solutions in this stage. They might say, look, you should do this or that. You need to look at that and think, well, okay, they're giving me the problem. Now I need to find what's the best cost-effective solution or what's going to solve the problem for them, so that will never happen again. That's your goal in this stage. Whenever problems pop up, you want to solve them so they never pop up again. I've seen people approach growth wrong. Growth is not, this is what we're doing now, and we'll do something else and sales will triple and double and we'll have 15 times the sale later on. That's not growth. Growth is when you've iterated to the point the product's fantastic, your sales process is fantastic, your contracts are fantastic, the way you deliver the product's fantastic, customers are happy, and you're just doubling the amount of business. You're replicating yourself, or you're taking it and moving it somewhere else, or you're opening another office. It's just replicating exactly what you're already doing to more people. At this stage, you shouldn't be changing anything. The system should be totally set, and that's why if you go too fast, or if you're thinking, well, this is working, something else is going to work, then we'll grow. It's like, well, cool, iterate on that idea. Try that idea. Any ideas you have, that's why the iteration section is really fun. Because if you have an idea, you can try it, and then if it makes no effect, you just ditch it. If it works, you keep doubling down on it. But you don't grow, you grow based on what you've already done. You don't grow based on what you think could happen in the future. You should have the system totally set, and all you're doing is just doubling the system. So if you're making $1,000 a week, if you just double your capacity, you'll be making $2,000 a week. It's not, well, if we double our capacity, we'll make 15 grand a week. It's not that. It's taking exactly what you're doing and replicating that somewhere else.